It's basically an autoimmune illness, which means that it can affect any part of the body at any time, and it can cause heart problems, kidney failure, blood problems, rashes, tiredness, bone problems with pain. It can affect any part of the body.
And is it something that you can catch, or is it genetic?
No, it's genetic. It isn't directly hereditary in that I've got it, my children will get it. But it is. We have got 3, 4, 5 people in some families that have got lupus, but it is genetic.
And just how serious would you say the condition actually is across, nationally and regionally?
Yeah. About 15 years ago, we did a survey in the Birmingham area, and there were 250 diagnosed cases. Obviously, it's increased since then, but we reckon that there are around 5 lupus patients for every 100,000 in the UK, and it's the same numbers across Europe as well. So it's we haven't got definite figures, but we're all working on the same figures.
And how is it treated?
It's treated by originally it was steroids that were the mainstay, which I obviously take a lot of, but anti-malarials are used a lot now, and anti-inflammatory drugs, and in some cases cancer drugs are used as well.
So obviously it's quite serious, and as your role as being founder of the West Midlands group, what do you do?
Well, we offer information to patients. We have lots of different leaflets. We can give suggestions of how they can approach the GP if they're not diagnosed but they think that they might have lupus. If they've read any of our fact sheets, we have a whole range of them, all newly done for. This month is our silver anniversary for Lupus UK, and we have changed our logo to a different butterfly. We've changed our colour to purple, and all our papers have all been reproduced, reprinted in purple. So we're in line now with all the other countries where there are lupus groups. Nearly everyone's going for purple.
And how long have you been doing what you've been doing now? How long have you been in the role?
I started in about 1978. I was diagnosed in 75, and we gradually built up a lupus support group in 1978. We started contacting more patients who got lupus. We were originally with Arthritis Care, because nobody knew what lupus was and nobody wanted us, basically. But then we grew a bit too big for Arthritis Care. There were too many of us. And we wanted to raise money for research, which Arthritis Care can't do, that's just welfare. And so we formed Lupus UK.
Would you say lupus is something that's quite falsely diagnosed?
Yes, it can often be misdiagnosed as MS or cystic fibrosis, ME, fibromyalgia, although a lot of patients with lupus do have fibromyalgia as well. But it is more common than MS, leukemia and cystic fibrosis all put together, but not many people have heard of it unless they've actually got lupus or a family member or a friend has got it. It can be a very lonely and isolating illness because of that, especially when you don't know from one day to the next how you're going to be. So people say, we all look so well, a lot because they're taking steroids or other medications that give you a full face and a high colour. But one of the symptoms of lupus can be what we call a butterfly rash, which is a redness on the cheeks and over the bridge of the nose. It looks like a butterfly shape, and that always makes you look well. That you've got eye colour, and because you can be really, really ill and in lots and lots of pain, very fatigued, but you look so well. So it can be very difficult.
And obviously this poster is for Lupus Awareness Month, which is October. So what really goes on for this month?
Well, we try to get out as much publicity that we can, talk to as many people as possible. We circulate doctors with information, have displays in hospitals, and get people out talking as many to ladies groups and Rotary clubs, and doing things like this TV interview, just to spread the word that lupus is there.
And so obviously for you, talking is very important. You want to create that awareness. And why do you think it's so important to do this?
I was there when I was diagnosed, and there was no lupus group. There was no support. Nobody knew anything about it. I had to go down to London for a doctor, and he was the only one in the country at that time who really knew what lupus is. And he's trained so many people now. We have got a lupus specialist in every main hospital in the country, and lots of consultants know about lupus, but still GPs aren't very up to date on it. They might only ever see 1 or 2 lupus patients in their career. So, they've got other illnesses to learn about and to treat. But we try to spread the word so that people know about lupus. Knowledge takes away a lot of the worry and the fear of an illness. And we need to spread the word.
And also, I guess, talking to other people that are going in through the same journey as you, that are experiencing the same things.
That's right, yes. I mean, I never, ever want anyone to be in the position that I was in 1975. A mother with 2 little children, told she's probably got 2 years to live when I'm still here. But we want people, I don't ever want anybody to be in that position. We want them to know there is always someone that they can contact, someone at the end of a phone to talk to, or to send an email, or to perhaps visit if it's possible, or come to a drop-in clinic, or, we just want them to know that there is help and support available for them.
And when you first got lupus, when you were first diagnosed with lupus, what were your initial reactions? Did you know a lot about it?
Well, no, I'd never heard of it. And I didn't know anyone who'd heard of it. And in fact, when I was first diagnosed, because the full name for lupus is systemic lupus erythematosus, and I got the doctor, the one in London, to write it down on a piece of paper, and I used to take it around saying, this is what I've got, because I couldn't even pronounce it. So obviously that's why we just say lupus now. But it's very, very terrifying when you're told that you've got an illness that you've never heard of. No one you know has got it. And we need to bring out information to people who are being diagnosed or who think they've got the problem.
And you also do drop-in days in Dudley, I believe. Talk us through that.
Yes. My husband and myself set up a lupus drop-in. Initially at the guest hospital in Dudley, but now it's moved to Russell's Hall Hospital. We're in our 14th year. We were going to run it for about 6 months to see if there was a need for it, but now we're in our 14th year for it. So it goes well. Sometimes you might get 20 people come, sometimes it's only 2. It's the people who need you at that time.
They need that help and that support.
That's right.
They've got someone to talk to.
Yes. If only one person comes, your day's worthwhile, because they're the person that needed the information and support at the time. And we've got the backing of all the consultants as well.
And if people want to contact you, what's the best way of going about this?
Yes, they can ring me on 01902 498 236, or they can email yvonne.wmlg@sky.com. We have a website, www.westmidlandslupus.co.uk for local, and we also have a national website, but I think people are local and want to contact me first. A few years ago we decided that we should have specialist centres for lupus, and Birmingham was marked as the first Lupus UK Centre of Excellence. It's the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, City Hospital and Birmingham University combined, and it's headed by Professor Caroline Gordon, who is known worldwide for her work in lupus. And within there we also started to fund specialist nurses. We have a Lupus UK specialist research nurse at Birmingham, and at Dudley at Russell's Hall we have a specialist nurse. And these are all any fundraising that we do in the West Midlands goes into the central pot to help fund these positions.
And just how vital do you think the roles that these nurses play actually is?
There's a noticeable difference in patients who attend a hospital where we've got a specialist nurse than, where they're not putting rheumatology nurses down because they will find out about lupus, but they've got a nurse who just concentrates on lupus. And, they know that there's always somewhere they can go for medical advice, and they're a good link between them and the consultants.
Because you were saying not even all GPs know what lupus is all about.
That's right. I mean, a GP might only see 1, 2 lupus patients in his career. He might not have a lupus patient that he knows of. And with all the other illnesses that they've got to contend with, it's difficult for them to know all about lupus. But we just ask that they refer to a consultant if a patient thinks they've got lupus. We have actually got a book, Diagnosis and Treatment, which was produced for GPs and health professionals, and we sent that out free of charge to every GP practice in the country. It's been updated recently, and if anyone who's watching this programme thinks that their doctor should have one of these books, if they contact me, we can get the book out to them.
And did you have a role in writing the book itself?
Yeah, I compiled it. I persuaded 22 different consultants who are leaders in their field to contribute a chapter, and yeah, it was a labour of love.
Oh, and it's a great concept. I mean, just how successful do you think a book like this can be?
Well, we can only presume that the doctors will look at it, you know. I mean, you can do a book, you can open the page, you can put it in front of a person, but you can't make them read it. But we have heard from patients that they've gone to their GP and he said, I can find out about that, I've got this book. And in it we list other consultants that the GPs can contact. So everything they need to know about lupus is in that book.